Cursor 2.0 is here, and they changed way more than I expected. If we hop to the edit, that looks nearly identical to what I'm used to. I thought they changed everything. That's because I'm in the editor view. You'll notice this little toggle at the top between agent and editor views. You can also press Command D to switch between the two. And when I press Command D, you'll see the new cursor experience. This is agents mode. This is their new view for managing all of the things that you're running, potentially even in parallel, in your code projects inside of Cursor. It has been the only way I've coded for a few days now, and I'm genuinely really impressed. I never thought I would like an interface like this, but they really get it. Cursor team's been going hard on this UI for quite a bit now, and the results speak for themselves. There are so many little things I'm excited to talk about here, from the built-in work tree support so you can run multiple things in parallel on your machine, to the ability to run multiple models at the same time to compare results, to my new favorite thing, Composer 1, the official model that was made by Cursor. Yes, they shipped a new model that they made themselves alongside all of this. I am an investor in Cursor, so make sure you account for any bias I might have there. It's never stopped me from being harsh on them in the past, and it certainly won't in the future. So you can take my word for how good it is, or you can listen to other people, like my manager, Ben, who has no financial incentive whatsoever to like Cursor. In fact, he's had his own issues with them in the past. Yeah, man, this is my GPT-5 moment, LMAO. They fucking killed it with this. The new model plus Cursor 2.0 is truly insane. Yeah, it's a good model and overhaul. I'm so excited to break down all the cool things this does right after a quick word from today's sponsor. LLMs have gotten super smart and we're building really cool apps with them, but no model can be smarter than the data it has access to, and it'll be a hell of a lot smarter if it has access to the data that your users need. Things like their Google Drive, their Notion, their Slack, and more. So how do you add that? Do you build each of those integrations yourself? I certainly hope not, because today's sponsor, Ragie, will make it so much easier. Their RAG is a service, but it goes so much further than that. They have the platform you need to integrate your users' data into your AI applications easier than ever before. It's hilariously easy to integrate. We're literally talking like 5 lines of code, and if you want users to be able to auth with their own stuff, it's seamless to do. They have connectors for everything your users would reasonably want, even stuff like Salesforce. Users click the platform they want data from, they sign in, they click the things they want, and you're done. If this is all they did, it would be worth it, but they do so much more too. They're working on this new concept of context-aware tools, where the tool calls are provided the context at start, so they don't have to go find the context later, which makes them way more accurate and reliable over time. If you're tired of having to write instructions like, use the retrieval tool to answer this, Raggie's figuring this all out. You can see here how they fill in the context hole so the model can behave correctly. This is awesome. It's like prompt enhancing with more knowledge of the data that the model has access to, and the result is just better outputs. If you're trying to bring your users' data into your applications, check them out now at soitiv.link/Ragie. Before we dive too deep into the editor, let's take a look at what the Cursor team has to say. Introducing Cursor 2.0 and Composer. Today, we're releasing 2 big updates that make Cursor the best place to work with agents. Our first coding model, Composer, and a new interface for working with many agents in parallel. Composer is a frontier model that's 4 times faster than similarly intelligent models. That's part of what's so cool about it. Composer, it flies. Turns out Cheetah, that model that's been hiding inside of Cursor for a bit, was actually by them, and it was an early version of what has become Composer. It completes most turns in under 30 seconds. Early testers found the ability to iterate quickly with the model delightful, and they trust the model for multi-step coding tasks. If you're curious how the hell they managed to get a model this good at Cursor when they're mostly an IDE company, that comes back to an acquisition they made a while ago. Remember SuperMaven? SuperMaven is the fastest copilot. It was the tab complete model that I got really hyped about way back that was built by Jacob, who used to be the creator of Tab9. He has been obsessed with autocomplete code stuff forever and really focused on responsive models that learn from you and work super fast. Because he has been so locked in on this, they've managed to make the tab complete in Cursor the best in the world by far, and he didn't want to stop there. Jacob and team kept going, and the result is this new model, Composer, the fast frontier model with reinforcement learning. We achieved these results by training the model to complete real-world software engineering challenges in large code bases. During training, Composer is given access to a set of production search and editing tools and tasked with efficiently solving a diverse range of difficult problems. The final result's a large-scale model optimized for high-speed use as an agent in Cursor. In their benchmarks, it is close to the best frontier models and way faster. And there's one other piece that makes it even faster than this indicates. They can edit multiple files in parallel with it. That's why it's called Composer. It's able to do multi-file editing and plan stuff in a way that feels fundamentally different. I could keep telling you about it, but I'd rather show you. So this is SnitchBench, the benchmark I made for testing how likely a model is to snitch on you, and I want to update it to AI SDK v5. I found this to be a weirdly difficult task for various models, so let's throw it at this. I'm going to grab the link to the AI SDK v5 upgrade v4 migration guide. Here's the migrate SDK 4.0 to 5.0. I will drop this link. I want to upgrade this project to use the latest AI SDK, Zod, and open router providers. Here's a link on how to do the AI SDK v4 to v5 migration. And now we submit it. This is all real time. We're not going to edit or speed this up at all. You're seeing how quickly it churns through and crunches all of this stuff. Scrubbing all the files, creates a to-do list. I found that the slowest things with this model are things like searching or running NPM commands. I go out of my way to tell it to always use bun because it historically the NPM is the thing that slows this down. And you see here as it's editing, it's just grinding through files. Let's say I want to do something else while this is going. I can click New Agent. I will change this to be in a work tree. By default, it's picking multiple different models for it. I don't necessarily need that. I'll turn off multiple models. Although it is very cool, you could do that to compare things now. You know what? Let's do it, actually. I'm curious. Multiple models, 5 codecs, composer. I'll throw Haiku in here as well. I want to update the UI for this benchmark. Instead of just printing lines to the CLI whenever a test runs, make a table that will show how many test runs have completed for each model in a set of rows. It should indicate how many tests are running, how many have completed, and how many have failed. It should also show the average time to complete for a given model. So let's run this with 3 different models in parallel. At the same time, we're doing all of the other work you just saw. Oh, look at that. The other task finished. It did not take very long. 8 of 8 to-dos complete. It just grinded through all of that. And I want to take a look. So let's do that. Let's just try running it and see if it works. Oh no, we're getting errors. Undefined is not an object. Did I not uninstall? I'll just do the usual, copy paste the error, let it figure that out. While at the same time, these are running in parallel. And isn't it cool? You can see how each one's doing. GPT-5 hasn't even started writing code yet because it's so heavy on planning. Haiku's been writing code for a bit now. Composer is just grinding as it tends to. Although we're seeing a bit of mistakes. The string to replace was not found in the file. It's just adding and deleting this table display over and over again. So it's choking a little bit. Happens. Do I have to click here to configure a worktree setup script? Bun install. Save. Done. Composer is now done. We can hit review and see the new review flow. This is one of the coolest things with this update. There's a new view that shows you each of the files with like proper VS Code Monaco style rendering. You can see for each piece what changed and review it all in one pass. It's actually really nice because it switches between the different files. You can expand and collapse them, show the whole file. It's a good view for this type of thing. Meanwhile, this is running, tells you to npm install or bun install migrations complete. Let's bun install, bun run index.ts, skipped already completed tests. That's a very good sign. Let's go rename one of the base models quick so that it will actually run and we can be sure it's running properly. Constants, what's a cheap one in here? O4 mini is cheap, not fast, but it's cheap. So we'll do O4 mini-1 just to force it to rerun. Not looking good. We'll tell it what the behavior was. For what it is worth, I did the same tests before and have a PR up with it changed. So I know it is capable, but this is the nature of LLMs. They are non-deterministic at best. When I tried running the code, it finished almost immediately. It said all of the tests took 0.04 seconds to run. This seems wrong. What might be causing the tests to not actually run and complete? Oh, look, it missed a change in the response structure. Happy that I figured that out. I just realized I forgot to finish reading the blog posts. Let's do that. So as I said, new model, really cool, super fast as you're seeing it just chug along through all this. I'm very impressed. But the interface is what you're seeing more of here. More focused and designed from the ground up to be centered around agents rather than files, so you can focus on the outcomes you want while agents take care of the details. When you need to deep dive into the code, you can still easily open files in the new layout or switch back to the classic IDE. Cursor 2.0 makes it easy to run many agents in parallel without them interfering with one another, powered by Git worktrees or with remote machines. We even found that having multiple models attempt the same problem, picking the best result, significantly improves the final output, especially for harder tasks. As we use agents more for coding, we've seen two bottlenecks emerge: reviewing code and testing the changes. With Cursor 2.0, we're also starting to solve both of those. We made it much easier to quickly review the changes that agents have made and dive deeper into the code when you need to. We've also built a native browser tool that allows Cursor to test its work and iterate until it's produced the correct final result. Yes, they snuck a browser into Cursor as well, where the AI agents can play with that browser, click things, check things, and make sure everything's working how you would expect it to. Super cool. Okay, they made more changes. You can review all of them as a group like this. I'm just going to hit keep all, like a good developer that thinks a lot about these things. Let's go back into constants quick and change this once more so that I'm not hitting my cache. Not looking good. You want to prove that these videos are real and not me just glazing. Here's your proof. Oh, it looks like when I accepted the changes from that other branch, they came over and they're clobbering each other. That is annoying. You know what we're going to do? We're going to stash all of those. Oh no, the dot cursor is probably where they're hiding the other things. So that's a little annoying, but we can work with that. Let's try this again. New agent, paste, one last try. Still flying. See how it's running three things in parallel here? It's searching the web for the language model, the UI message change, and the OpenRouter AI SDK v5 thing. It's able to do all of these at once. I don't think it needs to search for those things necessarily, but the fact that it can run multiple things in parallel is really cool. It makes, even though like the TPS is faster, this change makes it feel significantly better. Oh, look, it's running the code mod this time. It's so nice having a proper full screen view for this. It does feel really different. I'm so used to having like in my editor, the agent thing and like expanding and collapsing it depending on what my specific needs are at a time. Now my editor can just be an editor and my agents can just be agents. And when I need to see the file it's changing, I just click the button, I can see the file that changed. And as I mentioned earlier, running NPM commands is the slowest thing that I've seen this model do, because it just takes a bit to run NPM. I was exploring the files, I can click them and see them right here. It's just all these little things they got right. I feel really good. Okay, I tried running TSC just to make sure that the types were correct. I wish it would just use the editor's LSP for this. God, it moves so fast. It's kind of wild. Finding more type errors. It's grinding. And look at that. Let's see if it worked this time. We'll review, give it a quick look. I think OpenRouter's AI SDK provider is newer. I wish that this was smart enough to have like access to fun little editor things. Like you can hover over and see what the latest version is. It's 1.2.0. We'll keep that though. Fun install, fun run index.ts. Skip test fine, but if I modify one so that it has to run it, let's see what happens. 04 mini 3. Yeah, key's missing. Did I move? Oh yeah, I moved the... Is that what this has been the whole time, that I got rid of my environment file? I think that's what it was. I wish I had better errors for that. That's hilarious that this was all just a user error the whole time, possibly. Let me find that quick. There are so many little things I need to fix with this bench. Wrong one. Constants. Aha! It's working. Look at that. I think it was just the environment variables. I'm so dumb. Cool. I got it to just upgrade this with like a lot of code that has to be changed to do it right. Missing parameters, OpenAI. Okay, what's it upset about? It got pretty far. The provider returned an error. Missing required parameter. Fun. I tried. I don't want to waste too much of this video trying that out when I know it can work. More things for me to fight in the future as I try to get this project finally upgraded. But it does do other things really well too. In particular, I've been really impressed with how well it handles user interface stuff. I did my classic build me an app that is an image generator from scratch just to see how it would look. You know what? I'll rerun it because it's so fast. C2, make dear C2 round 3. Grabbing the same prompt, still using Composer. The difference here being I specify to use bun because I'm tired of waiting for NPM. Creates a to-do list. It's so good at to-do lists. It grinds out an XJS package JSON. It actually seems to write them instead of just running the init command, which is interesting. But it does it correctly every time so far. It's grinding out the giant studio.tsx file, model selector. It flies. This is all real time, remember. I'm not speeding this up or doing anything fancy in post. You're seeing it create this whole app from scratch this quickly. No lint errors found, no other errors found. Keep, bun install, bun run dev. And there we are. Not even that ugly looking. They screwed up the like cropping here for the G, but that's a small thing to get wrong. Looks pretty much just as good as what you'd get out of an Anthropic model. Slightly worse when you get out of like GPT-5 because it's a UI god. Even for like CLI stuff I found, which has been crazy, but it's more than passable. Results are really good. My assumption is that they are taking data that has come from a lot of people using other models with Cursor, the people who've opted in to share their data, and they use that to replicate the outputs that they get from other models that were accepted by the users. They have so much data on all of this, on what responses were accepted by the developers, they can use to do reinforcement learning on a model to make it really good. And it shows. Let's say we want it to be prettier. Let's git init this first, because it's using work trees, so it doesn't work without git. We have it initted. Now that we have this as a Git repo, we can turn on work trees and multi-model. Let's try Codex, Composer, and Haiku. The UI for this is so ugly. Rethink it. It should be minimal, nice looking, and dark mode. No ugly blue gradient backgrounds, please. Clean black background, but with light. I won't steer it too much. We'll leave it here. Let's see how the different models handle this. All they need is bun install. Funny, it keeps popping up that raw thing. I think that's a bug. Pretty cool. You can just see what all the different models are doing in parallel. This is inspiring for me for T3 chat stuff in the future. Oh, they even have an open terminal and work tree option here. You can see where it's putting it. Okay, it's putting these work trees in a hidden folder in the .cursor directory for your user. That's a pretty clever solution to keep it from clogging up the place that you're currently located. It would be cool if I could configure that so each repo could just have these open there so I could play with them in my normal terminal, but this is fine for now. Now I can bun run dev this and see what the Composer version looks like. And honestly, that looks pretty good for a model that is that fast and cheap. I actually don't know how expensive it is compared to other models. Let me see if they show that on the Cursor site. Dashboard. And you can see here that the amount of money it costs to run Composer is just not too bad. A lot of my requests are less than a cent, and it's all being included. But yeah, it does have prices comparable to 5 codecs, it seems. I don't know how much that is like pushed. Yeah, it seems like they're currently pricing it at the same level of usage as GPT-5, which is interesting. I'm curious if the price goes up, down, or changes at all throughout. Let's see how Haiku fared with this. We'll do the same open terminal for this. Bun install, then bun run dev. Here's how Haiku overhauled it. In some ways better, in some ways worse. I don't like the way they're doing the like borders on this and makes this section stick out more. But I do like the coloring overall. Don't like how this overflows way too far to the bottom of the page. We're still waiting for GPT-5 to finish. Yes, story of my life. GPT-5, the best model ever until you have to wait for it to be done. No lint errors, planning next moves. Let's just see how it's doing so far. Yep, still the best looking UI. GPT-5 is really good at this. But how cool is it that I can just test this way now? It is so convenient. I didn't think I would like this feature as much as I do, but it has honestly been great. GPT-5 is still going. Now it's summarizing the changes it made, but showing the code in the summary. I don't need you to keep generating tokens to show me what you did, GPT-5. Well, I'll apply those. And now I've taken the changes from this version, and you can see the check mark saying like this is the one I chose and used. And now if I go to my main project, bun run dev, you will see that's the one that it picked. I want to try the browser thing really quick though. So let's at browser, make sure the image output is centered on the page. You can remove the top bar if necessary. Now it's capturing a snapshot. This is my first time seeing this, so we will allow Cursor to do whatever it needs to. Apparently I have to quit and reopen Cursor for that. Not a good sign so far, but let's reopen cursor quick. Let's retry this now. So now it can open the browser. It says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. That's not the right URL. I thought this would be better than it is. The page is currently available at localhost 3000. Continue and revert. There we go. Now it can actually see the page. And it sees how bad the layout is. Remove the header and centering the image output. Fix the typo I introduced. Take a screenshot. Now it realized the output is weird, which it did before, but now it can actually see the result and make the change accordingly. And now if I refresh this, look at that. It did it. That's actually really useful. If you find that your models are struggling to get the thing working properly in the browser, this might be a really useful solution to that problem. Like, how cool is it that it just successfully spun up a browser, fixed the UI problems, and then made the right changes when it realized the first pass was wrong? These are things that you just had to do by hand. I can't tell you how many times I've asked a model, make this change, had to go hop into the browser, take a screenshot of it being wrong, and said, no, this is what it looks like now. You screwed it up. Try again. Now it can just do that as part of its own loop. That's really good. I'm super impressed with this. It has already started to impact how I'm writing code. I am more willing to try multiple models and see if the outputs work. I'm even starting to write more tests so that I can check against different models to see if the solution worked or not. I'm blown away. My team is blown away. I think this is a really good update. I'm super curious how y'all feel about this, though. Am I overhyping this release, or does it actually seem cool to you? Let me know what you think after you give it a shot. It's available for everyone to use today. I hope you enjoyed as much as I have, and until next time, peace, nerds.